Hey YouTubers, what's up? Yep, it's me, Phil Lamar with Yeah Boy Automotive and Engineering. Today we're going to be working on a 2001 325i BMW, and we're actually going to be doing a clutch change out. I've seen a few videos where guys are doing a lot of different things to get the transmission out. Some things are absolutely true that you do need to do to get the tranny out, and I'm going to show you how I do it and where I start to make it go quick, fast, easy, and in a hurry. Okay? Well, then I'll show you the first thing we're going to do, and I'll be right back. Guys, sorry about the pause, but okay, so here we are. So of course, the first thing, if you have some ramps, you want to get your car jacked up off the ground and on some ramps, okay? So I have ramps pretty much all the way around from the passenger side, of course, all the way around to the driver's side of the car. As well, you're going to want to try and get the rear end of the car off the ground. So I've also placed some jack stands as close as you can to the anchoring bar behind both tires, okay, just to get a little bit of lift. I think I might be about an inch or two off the ground. Okay, once that's all up, you're going to have some space to actually be able to get under this puppy. Alright, so that's going to be your first step. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so next step is tools in place. Get all your tools together, and I'm going to show you what I'm using and the tools that are necessary to remove this. I'm not sure how old your BMW is. This one's really, you know, like I said, it's a 2001. I'm not sure if it's had a lot of maintenance done on it. But what I did do is I used a penetrating oil to spray all the bolts. And I did this the night before. So rule of thumb of rule, whatever, however you want to pronounce that. Spray your bolts with some type of penetrating oil. I don't care what you're using, WD-40 or whatever, but I'm using one that works really good for me. Of course, you want to get a floor jack. If you have two floor jacks, that's going to work for you as well. So when the tranny gets ready to start coming down, you want to be able to brace it and keep that puppy stable. I always reiterate safety, so make sure you unplug your battery. As the transmission will be coming away from the starter, you have a positive and negative lead going to that starter. So make sure you do that as well. And because we're up off the ground, you can always put your e-brake on. However, it's not really going to work that well because most emergency brakes work with a back tire. So what I did is I also blocked the front rim to make sure this puppy's not going to roll off these ramps. Down here I'm using some specialty tools. Of course, always get a breaker bar. I'm using my torque wrenches because they work well as breaker bars. I'm also using some specialty sockets. These specialty sockets are what are called strip out sockets. You can find those at one of your local automotive store. The only reason I'm using those is to guarantee the bolts are not going to strip and that they're going to come out. I'll be working with a 15 millimeter, 18 millimeter. You're going to be working with what they call a E46, which is really a 6-point or 6-star. You're working with a 10-star. Of course, I have a 18 millimeter socket here. You'll be needing this 1/2 inch as well. These are the tools so far that you're going to be working with. Eventually, we're going to be using a flathead screwdriver and a Phillips screwdriver. Okay, so get those tools in place. Again, mostly it's going to be 15, 18, a 14, a 10, and a 1/2 inch. All right, get that stuff in place, and I'll show you exactly which ones you're going to be using them on. Hold on, I'll be right back. Guys, sorry for the pause, but yeah, we're back at it. So I'll try and shoot this at the best angle I can so you can kind of see everything from square one. So the first place you're going to start, of course, is going to be with your muffler. Unfortunately, it does have to come out of the way due to the rear drivetrain or your drive axle that actually sits underneath what we call a plate, or they call it a rock plate. It's just a protective surface to keep rocks from hitting your drive train or your rear drive axle. I'm sorry. So these are going to be 15 millimeter bolts. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll try and point to these. Okay, so here's one here. There's going to be one right up here in the center. You're going to have this puppy down here on the bottom, and there's going to be one right here where my finger's pointing, right there on the side. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to get those loose. You don't have to take your O2s off, because they're actually sitting on the exhaust manifold. They're not sitting on the exhaust itself. There's also going to be a bracket here that has to come off in order to help this muffler system release. Okay, so once you get those all loose, I'll show you the next step. Hold on, we'll be right back. Here we are. So moving towards the back of the car, there's also going to be 2 muffler brackets back here as well. You're going to be using a 12 millimeter on these, okay? These are all 12s. You'll see them all back here. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's like 10 of them because you have 2 of the brackets, okay? So let's just take 12s. Once you put a 12 on those, you know, go ahead, loosen them up, get them undone again so that this thing can start dropping down. Hold on, I'm going to show you the next step, alright? We'll be right back. Okay guys, sorry about the pause, but alright, so again, you know, we're going to start with the muffler. I was showing you what we had to do. Back here there are another 2 braces that hold the muffler up. Again, these bolts are also 12 millimeters. So there's 1 bracket on this side, and there's going to be 1 on the opposite side of the muffler itself. It's going to be the same thing, okay? I'm not going to crawl in the car and show you, but trust me, it's the same deal. You'll see it on the opposite side. So 12 millimeter, get those all loose, and let's drop our muffler out. Hold on, I'll be right back as soon as this thing comes out. Guys, and we're back. So there you go. The muffler's out, as you can see, out from the bottom of the car. Here we go. Again, like I said, you know, where to start. Definitely make sure you get your rear muffler cross brackets out. Once those rear muffler cross brackets come off, everything else is going to flow pretty smoothly. Let me swing over here and show you the muffler. Here's the 325i muffler that came out. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright, that came out pretty easy. And like I said, when I was talking about those rear muffler clamps, that's the one that I was shooting. So they're both the same, okay? So all this takes is a 12 millimeter and a 15 up front for the exhaust manifolds. Get those all out, and then your muffler's going to drop right down. Another rule of thumb, when you take all your bolts and stuff out, do yourself a favor, put all those bolts back where you took them out from, okay? That way you don't have to worry about throwing them in a box, in a bag, or anything like that. Unless you have a plastic bag with some tape, then tape them to the part you took them apart from, so you know exactly where they go. Okay, hold on, I'm going to show you the next step. We'll be right back. Okay guys, so now we're going to take off the rock plate that covers the drive shaft. Some of you guys might have it different on your car, just depending on whether someone's done work on it before. You might have a complete cover shield, or you might have a half cover shield. This one, because it's your making model, only has a half cover shield. I don't have to take the front one off, okay? This one doesn't have to come off for me because it's not in the way of the transmission coming out. However, the one going towards the rear is, there are going to be 4 bolts only for me. There's one here. There's one straight across from it here. And I'm going to try and swing this best I can, not be too close. And we're going to swing towards the back. And you can see right up there, there's going to be another 10 millimeter. And right across from it, back here, is going to be another 10 millimeter. So those are the 4 10 millimeter bolts that you guys are going to need to take off, okay? All right, hold on. Once this plate comes off, I'll show you what we're going to see after that, okay? I'll be right back. Guys, so our plate's out of the way. Again, like I said, those are going to be 10 millimeters. Once you get that, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see your drive shaft, okay? Bada bing, bada boom. It's all going to go all the way to the back. You're also going to see this center bearing. The center bearing is basically a bracket as well, and it's the same at 12 millimeter. So throw 12 millimeter on both of those and get it undone. I've already taken out my bolts that go up here for my drive shaft and my transmission. These are just 18s, okay? So there'll be a long 18 bolt going through the front side of it, and of course there's going to be a nut on the back. Just get 2 18 millimeter spanners, hold them down. You only have to take off 3. You don't have to take all 6 of them off. Just go ahead and knock those off. Once those come off, and you get your center bearing out of the way, this drive shaft's going to pull away from the transmission, and we are just about set and ready to start dropping this puppy out to get our new clutch put in. Hold on, I'll be right back. Again, sorry about the pause, but there you go. Driveshaft's out. Like I said, just follow these steps, one step at a time. You'll get this done quick, fast, easy, in a hurry, without looking at a whole bunch of video footage, all right? So my next step, there we are, is my transmission support bracket. Once that support bracket gets loosened up, it's going to drop down. Make sure you get a support jack on there, because it is going to lean down towards you. That's going to allow you to get to the 2 upper bolts that are going to be on top, all right? We'll get that loosened up and show you guys the next step. Be right back. Guys, again, sorry about the pause, but yeah. Anyway, so I was telling you about the transmission bracket, which mine are pretty much already loose. So I'm going to get ready to put my floor jack under and take it off. One thing though, don't forget to take off your muffler support bracket that's on the bottom of the transmission. These are just ½ inch. There's a ½ inch nut on the front and a ½ inch bolt in the back. Just use a socket and spanner. The reason you're going to take that off is so when the tranny comes down, you don't bend your muffler bracket. Okay, let's get this this bracket off, so that this tranny can come down, so we can get to the last 2 upper bolts. Hold on, I'll be right back. So like I already said, my brace bolts are pretty much already loose. Before you get ready to take all those out, make sure you go ahead and place your floor jack on the bottom of the brace for stability, because it is going to lean down. Okay, again, like I said, I always iterate safety. It's the most important thing. Okay, let me take out the last 2 bolts and we're going to start lowering this puppy down. Hold on, I'll be right back. Alright guys, so here we are. Before I start removing the last 2 bolts, like I said, I got the mount loose. On top of that, there's going to be some clips that are going to be holding the arms on. This one right here, I'm swiveling with my hand, with my fingers. Is a little bit difficult, just because it has another little lip on the opposite side. What I did is I used a long chisel to get underneath it where it's thinner. Put your chisel under there, get a hammer, tap it, and it'll pop out. So once you get that loose, you're just about there. I found the easiest way to do this one was, to get this steady here, is right here. There's a clip pin right there, little horseshoe clip. Just pop that off. This arm will drop down and disengage from the shifter itself. All right, let me get those clips off. Use a screwdriver or needle nose pliers. Get that clip off and you're just about set to go. Hold on, I'll be right back. Guys, here we are. So like I said, way up on top there's going to be a T14 and a couple of T10s, which are around the starter. Also, don't forget to undo your clutch slave, which is right here that I'm touching. Those are also 10 millimeters. There's one transmission sensor plug coming in. Just unplug that. It's just got a quick slip clip on it. Get those 2 things out of the way before you start taking off those 3 10 millimeter bolts that are holding the starter in. There's one last bolt way over here in the corner that you can hardly see. So what I've done is on the bottom of this, if you go to the front of your car, you're going to see 2 motor mounts. You don't have to take the bolts completely off the motor mount, but just loosen them up enough to where maybe you can like lift the motor maybe about 1 inch. That extra inch is going to help you so much to make this go so much easier. I've seen some guys are struggling to get their tools in. Some are using swivels. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I going to go through all that? Just loosen these 2 engine mount bolts. Of course, they're connected to the transmission. And it's going to give me an extra inch of working space. So that's what I did. I'll show you that before I close this out. Okay, let me get this clutch clave unhooked and get these last T10s out. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so to reiterate, your clutch slave cylinder, those are just 12 millimeter bolts, so just go ahead and get those off. And the 2 bolts around the starter on the top are actually going to be T12. So if you don't have a 6-point set, get to one of your local automotive stores and get a 6-point set, because you're going to need a T10, T14, and T12. The only hardest bolt I found was this one on the passenger side, which is a T14. I had to put a swivel on mine and push my transmission over some in order to get this particular bolt to come out. Hopefully you won't have that problem and yours will come loose just fine. Alright, so since all the other bolts are loose, I suggest that what you do is you start in the top because they're going to be the most difficult. All the other ones are on the bottom. Those would be fairly easy. Alright, so these are already loose. I'm going to go ahead and pull them out. We're going to get my floor jack underneath this tranny and drop this puppy down. I'll see you in just a second. Be right back. Guys, sorry about the pausing, but okay, here you go. So tranny's out. So remember, like I said, once you get all those bolts loose, especially way up here on top, everything else is going to go relatively easy. Don't forget to unplug your transmission sensor plug, so don't forget to get that out of the way as well. One other thing that I haven't seen in a lot of videos, maybe some guys show it, maybe some guys don't show it. Your flywheel has a cover plate, and this is the flywheel cover plate right here. Okay, sorry, there we are. This is the flywheel cover plate. This cover plate is actually bolted in to the passenger side of the transmission. You'll have to come around to the front of your car, slide underneath. Now if you look up here right by the exhaust manifold, see if I can find my finger there. There, see this little bolt moving around? Okay, this bolt comes in from this side and goes right into the back of the transmission. So if you see yourself having a hard time getting your tranny out, more likely it's going to be this bolt and the stud bolt or stud bolt for the starter. Both of those get a little rusted and a little bit stuck. Alright, and here's the clutch plate. So we're getting ready to take this puppy out so we can put a brand new clutch in. One more thing to reiterate, remember this this clip right here that unclips from the top. So once you get this clip pin to pop up, so be it. This pin just slides right out, and that's how you're going to get it off the arm of where the transmission is. Okay, so just remember, you know, this goes in like this. Get it to pop up. Once you get this puppy to pop up, bing, it's going to unloosen itself. Just go ahead and slide out. All right, I'm going to get ready to take this clutch out and put a brand new one in. Now, if you're having problems, more than likely, I'll show you some things to look for since the tranny is already out, okay? Hold on, I'll be right back. Alright guys, and here we are. Clutch is out, and wow, there is no more clutch left. Look at that, this clutch is gone. Look at the back side of this, man. My homeboy drove this thing down to the bare minimum, so to speak. Oh wow. It's gone, it's ass out, so no more clutch there. We'll take a look at the, actually we're going to replace all of it, so I'm not even going to look at the pressure plate. Anyways, to get your bolts out, you're going to use a 6mm hex bit socket. The bad thing is, these, you know, they start to strip out after so many times of putting them in and taking them out, so you're going to have to replace these 6mm hex bolts. What I would do is I would convert over to a 10mm octagon instead of using these 6mm hexagons. Alright, anyways, clutch is out, guys. So that's what you're going to do to the 325i BMW to get your clutch out and put a new one in. All you have to do is just reverse the process to put your brand new one in. And I'm going to wish you guys the best of luck. Okay? So I hope this was instructional and helpful. Go ahead and leave likes and comments. As usual, this is Phil Lamar with the Automotive and Engineering, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.